It's weird. And right now I'm 24 minutes and 24 seconds in.
It must have not
Yeah, but
been.
I don't see it. Damn, I think we might have to. Fuck, we have to do it again.
Because I don't see anything else under your channel.
Yeah, but right now it says live 24 minutes 42 seconds in. So
So
okay,
it
yeah,
says live.
okay. Now it's on. Interesting.
All right, cool. Well, Sean Simpson's in here
Yeah, but the thing is did it just start now or when did it start?
just now. Introduce and start over, man.
That's interesting.
It
That is
happens.
very interesting. All right, guys. Well, listen. I got my boy Grover from Tip Network. We thought we were already live, but my equipment is acting up. It says that we're supposed to be already 20 minutes in, but now it's looking like we just started. So, the conversation that we were having was simping in the Western countries versus foreign countries. Is it any better in third world countries or poorer countries? So that's the debate we're trying to have here, and we kind of have different views on this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
let Grover kind of tell you what his is, but it's not as optimistic as mine. So
All right. So I think the first thing to understand is that I'm a pessimist.
Mhm.
So like folks like all the times when I like one of the things I even talk to other YouTubers and they're like, man, why do you see everything like this? And it's because all right. So I lived in two countries. I worked and lived in Thailand for 18 months, almost 2 years, and I lived in France for 2 years and traveled
Damn.
all through Europe, been to 38 countries, and I did both of these when I was younger, right? So I was actually in France before the Euro, and then I was in Thailand in the early 2000s. So I'm coming up on 20 years now. So. And I've been back and forth to Thailand a bunch of times. I have a bunch of friends back and forth to the Philippines. I actually have family in the Philippines from marriage from some of my uncles, and so like I had a place to go, a stable place. I do Filipino martial arts. I do Japanese martial arts, and I do a lot of Thai boxing. And so since all of those things were so prevalent to me, I was back and forth to Europe. So my thing is this: when we talk about simping in general, I think that there's three things that you gotta be careful with. Number one, is that you are not in a place long enough usually when you visit to actually know the person. And so I would say be very careful because anybody can be anything they want to be for
Mm.
2 or 3 weeks. I mean, heck, there's people who get married and 5 years later they say, I don't know who this person is. Well, she was what she was. She just could act really good. So that's
Part
number
time,
one.
yeah, part time.
Yeah, yeah. Number two, and I know we went over these earlier. Number two, you really have to understand the family dynamics of what you're getting into. So, like in Asia, like when we're in the Western world, it's for someone tells us that they're it's easy to find someone who's divorced of their family values here. I mean, we're like a generation and a half away from really strict family values. If you're in Asia, especially if you're in Latin America, man, they still like they look down on you like you'll get looked down on if you're not representing the family correctly in every aspect and in every level. And so especially you being a foreigner coming in, you have to be of substance. So you want to be very careful. You don't understand the family dynamic. So, you don't know if you're getting used. You don't know what the family wants you for, and you don't understand, especially if you don't understand the language that they're speaking. You could be in trouble.
Yeah,
Now, fortunately
it
for
could
me,
be right in your face.
right, it is right in your face. Fortunately for me, Putai Ninoy, so I spoke enough Thai so that I would hear people talking about me. I'd hear people talking about me, calling me the big black guy, right? And I'd be like, all right. So I already know what's up. If you don't even if you can't even say my name and I'm just an object to you, then I'm already understanding. I'm already kind of understanding. And lastly, I say, especially young men, you don't know who you are. You don't know who you're out there finding yourself. You're learning yourself. You're discovering yourself. You're growing. One of my keys to optimization is travel the world. You're doing this. You're optimizing. So what are you going to do by wasting your resources on somebody that when you go down the street, you may want to waste your resources on someone else. And this is what I mean for this, just to make it clear. I see a couple of people here in the chat, and respect to all of you folks who came in. Here's the things I'll say to make it clear.
Like the video on the way in. Not just people in the
Please,
chat live. I'm talking about in general. When you watch this on the replay, like the video on the way in. Because right now, like Grover was telling me earlier, YouTube is really strangling
YouTube is
me.
tough.
Yeah, I need the likes, I need the comments, guys, I need the shares, I need all that now. And make sure that you're subbed, because a lot of guys are telling me that they don't see themselves subbed anymore. Yeah, somehow they unsub.
Yeah. So just to finish this, and then I'll go. Like, so if you're going out there, you may actually not understanding a new culture. You may actually think you're like found a one. I've seen people who found a one, and then a week later they found a one, and then a week later I was like, you done found 3 to 1s. That's not even a one.
Well,
that's the 3.
that simply comes from traveling and seeing how much better options you have in other environments. That's what that is. That they didn't know they had.
And by the way, the ladies do it too. Africa, Gambia is the #1 destination in Europe for women to go meet men. So the number one destination for European single women to go meet men is in Gambia, in Africa. And it's been like that for years. Women. So I'm not even just saying men. I'm saying just in general, as a human being, even though we're going to come from a male point of view, you have to really understand yourself before you go into that. And the simping game works all over the place. One of the things to the folks in the chat, thank you for coming in. Thank you for being here, and thank you for waiting. Thank you for your patience. We thought we were out, but we weren't. YouTube is really putting a stranglehold on this type of content, meaning that it's not being pushed. I go through my comments. Ayende was telling me he went through his comments, and someone said, "Dude, strangely, I've been unsubbed, and I know I'm subbed. I'm not getting notifications. It's happening all over everybody with any men's content." Now, my channel isn't super heavy manosphere. My channel is more like comedy, traveling, reaction, whatever we feel like. You know, me and Scott, we talk about self-improvement, but we kind of sprinkle it in with sarcasm because it's fun. But, I mean, we getting unsubbed. Everyone's getting unsubbed. I mean, I remember Preach was talking about it. So, like, it's happening, right? So we got to really understand that, you know, just like, share, and keep it going. And support this man, Authentic Alpha. He's my little big brother on these streets. And, you know, we've been rocking together for a while now. Since for a while we've been rocking together. But that's my opinion of it. My opinion of it, just to come full circle with my thoughts, is that just really understanding. If you don't know who you are, you don't understand a family, and you don't know who that person is, what the hell are you spending all your money for? Go there, have fun, have a vacation, but the main focus should be you, not them.
Right. Well, man, I done screwed up and put simping in the title. That probably wasn't smart. That's a good way to not be on the algorithm. But
yeah. People are like, you had a live today?
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, as much as I can see how those things would be, you know, yellow tape caution, I think the issue is a lack of experience, lack of awareness, lack of, value, determined value, and then also confidence in oneself. I think all of those things combined is what would make everything you described a hazard. Whereas if you were clean in all those areas, everything that you just described would actually be a benefit. So let me kind of explain what I'm saying. If I was always traveling, right? So like my whole life, always traveling. From I was a kid, right? There was a hit out on me when I was like a baby. So I had to flee the country, right? So
how the hell you get a hit as a baby? I bet you had on Timbs too. You had on Timbs in Brooklyn.
Well, you know what? No, all jokes aside, I inherited it from my father because they couldn't catch up with him. So they said, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna get the baby. So, you know, they got me out of the country. But I say that as to say, ever since that moment, I never stopped traveling. So you're talking about a 2-year-old, right? They shipped my ass back to Jamaica. I didn't come back here till I was after 5. But from then, I didn't stop traveling. Like, I can't really think of a time that I was in the country for like more than 2 years at a time. And you got to understand, when you're small, 2 years is a very long period of time. But in the overall grand scheme of things, 2 years is nothing. It's a couple mango seasons.
Absolutely, you said a couple of names.
Right, right. So I was always traveling, and one of the things I noticed is the value of something when you take it from its origin and bring it somewhere where it's scarce. And you got to understand, as when you're growing up with immigrant parents, you're going to learn that concept fast. Because every time you hear family members on the phone, it's like, yeah, I'm going to go down to Jamaica, probably maybe June. June, I'll come back to Jamaica. Oh, please, can you pick up this for me and bring this and beg you this and beg. So your family's already loading you up with things they want you to bring from America. Right, because we consider those things there in Jamaica. But then also there's a vice versa. When you're going back to the States, you're loading up on a whole bunch of things in Jamaica that's hard to come by in the States. And I bring that up because it translates also with human beings, with trading in the flesh, so to speak. So what happens, especially for brothers, right? So I know you can relate to me on this because you also of the melanated, complexion, and you've also lived in foreign countries, whether they be poorer countries or wealthier countries than America. You've seen both, and the thing is that we are desired and in demand in both. So it's a very interesting dynamic because you can go somewhere that's even more racist than America, but you still in demand though. That's the crazy thing. Brothers are still in demand. It's like in China, they could be openly racist, but be a ball player and go to China. Everybody's trying to sign you. You see what I mean? So it's a very interesting dynamic. And then also the women want you. So I noticed just going from one neighborhood to another neighborhood, the value was different. The value was different. And then if you go to another state or city, the value's different. And then you go to another country, the value's different. You go to another continent and you're like, wait a minute. So what I'm saying is each time I traveled somewhere new, I had to get an assessment of what do I go for here? You understand what I'm saying? I hate to say it that way, but it's like, what am I worth here? You know what I mean?
No. And if I can interrupt you, it makes total sense. That makes total sense. I mean, everywhere you went. I mean, one of the biggest things, like the first time, I was out of the country as a kid. I was back and forth to the Philippines. But the first time I was out as an adult, free range chicken. I don't know why I said chicken, free range. I must be. I'm still hungry. I ate a small dinner. The thing is, then you start eating something, so you ain't no good.
No, I'm sorry.
The thing is, I personally, I went to Japan. I was playing in a jazz band. I went to Japan when I was 18 years old, and I played for 2.5 months and toured all over Japan, right? And Japan's a very unique place, and like I was surprised.
Mm-hmm. Highly in demand.
Some places I was harassed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I had really experienced that because I had spent most of my time between California and Texas. I mean, we both got fam in Houston, and my family were originated from Houston. When I was in the Philippines, I was always around military folks, and I was around my family in the Philippines. So, only thing I heard from my aunties is as soon as I get old enough, they're going to try to get me married to someone. And I was like, I'm 12, so you're trying to get me married off. It's weird, right? But but when I was 18, they will arrange marriages for you. but when I was 18 and I was out, and I was playing trombone. We're going here, we're going there. We got on a bus and drove all place, bullet train. It was cool, and I was cool, right? I was a cool dude. Like it was summertime. I was dressed differently. I walked differently. I talked differently. So there's a lot of things that you just get, not from being American. Then another layer is that you have to understand that everybody looks at Black Americans, or the so-called Black Americans. You almost said so-called Negro, almost went Malcolm. Is that they always look at us as the tastemakers of the country. So everything they like comes from us. Right. So I would go to a club. In throwback time, because they had throwback, they had modern, and then they'd mix them all together, right? So they were playing Black Sheep, The Choice Is Yours. That's how old it was, right? They were playing Black Sheep and Tribe Called Quest, the Low End Theory album. Those albums were playing that year. Then they would jump straight to James Brown. Then they jump straight to Michael Jackson. Then they go back to hip hop, right? And so I'm tripping out saying, oh, man, this is crazy. These people don't know how to like
DJ.
the vibe is kind of
yeah,
right?
exactly. It's all over the place.
They're looking at us
for
like,
approval.
The brothers like, you guys hate all of this music. You know?
Looking at you for approval.
Yeah, like how fast the music was. They're dancing like, hey, can you dance? And it's like, oh, that's weird. But no, they're dancing because they want to know if I like how they dance. And everything, dude. You want that drink? So I can definitely understand how the currency rises when you go to other places, right? I had an amazing time. I had too good of a time to be 18 years old, not really know myself, because I too fell into the thing where I was like, oh, well, you know, this lady right here, she has to be the one. She has to be the one. And then
but did you know how to? What I'm saying is, did you quickly identify, you know, this value? Because
yeah.
Right. So because if you don't, then you can easily become a simp. Is what I'm saying.
I identified the value because I was told. I was told. I had a translator, and they were like, because it was like three brothers and everybody else was like white cats and Mexican cats, and she pulled aside and said, "You're gonna have a great time." So I about it, right? So it's a little different. It's just a little different. I'm speaking of it, and like, so that's me. And also, you say something that I agree with. Don't judge. I can't judge your situation. My situation is the same.
Right.
You know, right? My situation is different. I was a musician. I played music. I mean, before when you're going on, I was playing. I've been producing music for like since the '90s. You know, I do stuff. I fought professionally. I did stuff. So, like, I'm not as the same as other people as far as just like my experiences. I got to travel most of the time for free. Other people can't say that. And so when I'm traveling somewhere for free, and if I have a little money in my pocket, it's a lot different than going somewhere on a strict budget, you know? So now I'm talking about the guys who I seen when I was working in Thailand. You know, I was a buyer, and I was going from city to city, going to factories, I went to rubber tree farms, I went to a lot of different places, and really got to see a beautiful country, got to do a lot of Muay Thai, and got to meet a lot of great people. And I got to see all of the seedy parts of the country too. All of the parts where the red light districts and all the stuff that people talk about. I've been to all of them, and it's a spectacle. The thing that surprises me is that there's two types of people who go to Thailand. There's types of people who go there and they see Thailand. There's type of people who just go straight to the red light district. The guys who go straight to the red light district, they will start simping on these women. I've seen it.
And I don't think they have as much fun. I don't think you can have as much fun when you go at it like that. Just in my opinion.
Well, I don't know, because some of the guys will say it's the time of their life. But then again, you know, I'm talking to a dude and I'm like, what are you doing, man? And he's like, I've been in a sexless marriage for 18 years. Well, I mean,
but I'm saying that's degenerate. He enjoyed that because he's a degenerate. And I say that because I've been to plenty of countries where the price of box is less than what you would spend to take a female out and have a good time. So
that's probably most countries, honestly, right?
Right. So what I'm saying is, the incentive is there, but me personally, right, and I've traveled with guys that agree with me on this, they would not have fun going that route. Like me, I could never enjoy going the pay for play route. I couldn't. For me, the most fun is going to come from meeting a chick that's super, super attractive, but also we're able to make a connection. Like there's something about her. She's fun. You know what I'm saying? She's interesting. We have a great time together, and all of the motions are enjoyable, right? So her showing me, you know, parts of her country is enjoyable.
Having a cultural exchange.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's interesting. Going out to eat is interesting. Going out to dance is interesting. You know, going to hear music.
And so because you haven't seen people go down on the road, like I've seen people meet ladies and think she's a perfectly nice girl, right? She's a nice girl, and they have a romantic time as soon as he goes home. But she's on there every month. It's something different. Hey, hey babe, oh honey, I miss you so much. By the way, you know, my mother's sick and we don't have enough money for the hospital. Okay, send money, and every month it's money. And so then I had to pull him aside and say, bro, every month there's something, how many thousands of dollars, you're $5,000 in a year, and you haven't even thought about it because you're doing this out of the kindness of your heart. What are you getting in return? What do you think what are you getting for this?
Yeah, but
well, I love hold on a second.
But what happens when he does? And then also what happens when maybe the girl actually likes him? Because here's the thing: it's not impossible to be a trick for a girl that actually likes the guy. Like, it's not impossible, because think about it: if a somewhat good looking guy or above average attractiveness guy who actually made good money went to one of these countries and started hanging out with a girl and really started having a really good time with her. He can afford to visit the country more than once, but he has to come back, for work or whatever. If he wants to continue that relationship, it's very feasible that woman actually likes him, and in her mind, it's like, I already hit the jackpot because I have this good-looking foreigner, and he visits me 2 or 3 times a year, and I can't, it's highly unlikely I'm going to meet a guy that I like as much as him or is attracted to as much as him, but he happens to finance a lot of shit. And then she's like, wow, thanks to him, I don't have to work as much, I don't have to work as hard. She might generally like this dude, though, and just one of the things that he brings to the table is he can afford to spoil her in that way. Doesn't mean she's necessarily using him. Doesn't mean she wouldn't be fucking with him if he wasn't paying for all that stuff. And maybe the satisfaction he gets out of helping this woman that he loves, maybe for him that's, enough. That's gratifying. So it's tricky.
You see how I'm smiling, right?
No, happened to you?
Rule number two. Rule number two is that you will never have more pull over this woman than her family's. Well, and so it has nothing to do with how much she likes you.
No, but I wanted to get into that too, though. I wanted to get into. Hold on. I wanted to get into that too because, especially with Asian culture, in the Asian culture, a lot of times they put the male before the female. So much so that a mother-in-law and a father-in-law will actually put the husband or the son-in-law before their own daughter. And they have such an understanding, you know what I mean, that it's like, look, this guy is providing, this guy's sending money back, that's enough for even the family. You better make sure that you fold his socks. You better make sure that you cook all his meals. You see what I'm trying to say? So you might actually be coming out ahead even though you're financing.
So let me expound on this. Right? So, and I'll just use Thai, for instance. A falong is a falong is a falong. If you're Dom falong, black falong, a Sekal falong, white falong, you're still a foreigner, right? Now, when you marry into a family, there's certain things that you have to do before you even marry into a family as a falong. Even paying the dowry, which usually the father's family pays the dowry to the man, because you're taking on a financial responsibility for it. No, but that's reverse where you actually pay the dowry to them, right?
If you're a foreigner.
Because you're a foreigner. The thing that I will say, and I will caution anybody, especially if you're going to Southeast Asian people will say it's not true, then you'll get them aside and they'll say, oh, it's kind of true, right? And I've seen this in Thailand. Scott verified that it's like that in Vietnam, because we know my podcast partner is, Vietnamese. I know it's like this in Burma. I know it's like this in Laos. These are all places I've been. I know it's like this in Cambodia. It's all places I've been, right? Malaysia. These are all, I've seen interactions with that. Being someplace for 2 years really gives you a lot of time to see a lot of things. Not know it all, but see a lot, right? And so you will never, yes, that's true. They're going to love the fact that you better not mess up that money. You better not. You better not. What if you can't give no more money? In 2008, I seen something amazing. I seen the richest people I knew become the brokest people I knew in less than 48 hours, just because their money was all tied up in stocks, right? I lost quite a little bit of money myself, but fortunately, my grandfather told me about gold and silver, so I actually did okay for a little time. But all of the currency I was actually investing in foreign currency, and all the currency I was investing in just took a shit. And so for a minute, I took a loss. But I'm talking to people where I'm upset because I lost maybe $150,000, $200,000 in value. And I'm talking folks who lost $4.5 million in value in the Bay Area, right? So all of their setups that they had overseas, that all dried up for them immediately. They couldn't send money, and their whole relationships fell.
Those girls were out of there.
That's why I say you have to say yes. The family is going to love you. Are you kidding? The family, don't you ever mess up. I know folks. Good friend of mine. His name is Don. Won't say his last name. Lives in Thailand. He's from Texas. He's actually from a neighboring city in Texas from my family, and that's how we know our families know each other. He was a contractor in Iraq. Then he just moved to Thailand when he was done, retired. Right? He told me, man, I just don't want to go up country because every time I go up country to see my mother-in-law, it just costs me too much money. Just costs me too much money. And so I really think that, yes, they're going to put you over. You're going to fold the socks. You're going to do everything for them as long as that money keeps coming. And I have to tell people, look, I'm an operations manager by trade. I look at the worst case scenario. I look at like the sky's falling, everything's on fire, and I still got to operate. I look at it like I got 17 sites to run with a quarter of the help, and I'm still going to make it happen. That's just how I've made my money my entire life. So I look at the downside of it. You, my friend, are an optimist. You're saying, yes, the family's going to love you, this, that. I'm saying, are they going to love you when the money runs?
I'm looking at it from this standpoint, right? It's like, how are you going to tell a simp?
By the way, I'm actually having fun because I like talking about this stuff. Because nobody else wants to talk to me about
I'm trying to come to some kind of understanding because I'm always thinking about this type of shit, right? And I'm always observing, guys interacting with women and the way they're interacting with them, and trying to figure out, is that a win or a loss? And it's like, how do you tell a short dude stop being short? You can't tell a short dude, yo man, stop being short, right? So it's like, how do you tell a skinny guy, yo, stop being skinny, right? Or how do you tell a simp, quit simping? You got to be realistic at some point in time. Some of these guys, that's who they are, right? You're a product of your environment. You're a product of how you grew up. You got nature and you got nurture. Suppose he's getting simp influences from both. You see what I mean? Suppose nature gave you some simpish tendencies, and then your upbringing gave you some simpish tendencies.
You just told the motherfucker he was born a simp. You born a simp. What's wrong with you?
What I'm saying is,
your daddy was a simp, and so was your granddaddy.
Okay, like for example, if I'm talking to, I did a consult probably like day before yesterday, and it was a really impressive gentleman, right? He was only 23, was already degreed up, already had plenty of money saved. He had debt, but his debt was all like well managed. He paid everything on time, so he only had about $20,000 worth of debt before he's like debt free. And I told him, well, you don't want to be debt free. You want to be in as much debt as possible because you want to be, investing that money. But he was thinking about relocating now because he's like, listen, I'm at a place now where I can move out of my parents' place. And it's like, listen, if you save that kind of money, you're that educated, right? You're already buying and flipping property. You staying home with your moms is excellent. You know what I mean? Because you're cutting expenses super low, while you decide what's your best move. So that way you're not just paying rent, basically. Because, my grandfather always told me, paying rent's a waste of money. If you're going to pay living expenses, it better be a mortgage, right? So,
or at least, from what I know about your grandfather, he would much rather you to stay and help pay down something
exactly.
As a group. Go out and make somebody else rich.
Well, that's how I was able to buy my first condo, is that stayed with my grandpa. The house was paid for. And yeah, I just helped him take care of expenses there. And his attitude was, save your money and buy a house. Don't rent anymore. Like, he would always be disappointed to hear me renting.
I agree. I agree with that attitude. If especially if you can get a cooperative,
No, that's what I'm saying. If it's a good situation, like for me, it was an awesome situation. You know what I'm saying? I was breaking backs every night of the week. I had dime pieces. Giving my grandfather massages and whatnot. Everybody was happy. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm serious. Everybody was happy. And you know why? Because there was no women living in the house.
Listen, boy, you can stay here as long as you want.
Long as you want.
Boy, I can see if that happened with my dad. All the big hip women coming here.
Hey, no. Yo, he wouldn't let me leave. I technically didn't even leave. I was still technically living with my grandfather. Had bought a condo out of foreclosure, and I was renting a condo that I started subletting. I started subletting it for more than I was renting it for. So I literally had 3 residences, and I couldn't leave. If I ever said, yo, Dad, I'm moving, he'd be like, what? Like, if he ever saw me carrying too much out of the house at one time, he'd be like, you leaving? I'm like, no.
I'm telling you.
I'm going somewhere for the weekend, Dad. Chill.
you better come back.
He's like, you leaving? I was like, no.
Well, you know what's something funny is that as like, so I left the house really young, and my dad he was always like, just come home if you got to come home. And I didn't do it out of pride. But it was always there. I think a lot of things we have in common is that your grandfather and my dad kind of jive with the same type of understanding and upbringing. Like, take care of stuff, be a man. My dad told me don't spin the cake if you ain't getting the honey. He told me that all the time.
But they would tell you, listen, but they're always there for you though. That's the thing, and
100%. Even if I was stupid, and
even when you fuck up. Ooh. And you know what's crazy? I feel bad that so many dudes don't have that. Like, so many guys don't have that male in their life where they can fuck up everything, right. And that person would just tell them, "How could you be so stupid? All right, let's go ahead and figure out what we're gonna do now." You know what I mean?
Oh no, I get it. I mean, I got my ass whooped a couple of times, but we fix it.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna let you know, but then they're also gonna help you move forward.
Hey, Golden Gloves, he put them on me, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, when I'm talking to young brothers, and they're actually in a good position, I'm always telling them, listen, don't anchor yourself down. You get what I'm saying? Don't anchor yourself down until you get out there and see what else is out there, see what other options you have. Because a lot of these young dudes, it will blow their mind the life that they could have in Amsterdam, or the life that they could have, you know, in Mexico, or the life that they could have in Colombia, or the life they could have in Costa Rica, the life they could have in Japan. It will blow their mind because, Definitely. Especially if they have a talent or a craft, a skill set that you need to shop around with that and see what else is out there. Even black men, black athletes in America, we're taught like the NFL, the NBA. And it's like, if you don't make it to the NBA, you failed. It's like, how? How when you can go play ball for Jerusalem? You can go play ball for China. You can go play ball for... Puerto Rico has like 17 different professional basketball teams.
So my cousin actually played 2 years for the Nuggets. His name is David Boone. He graduated from Marquette. I think the year they went to the Final Four. Then he went to the Nuggets, blew out his knee. Went and played in Spain for I think he got 5 years in Spain. Finished his career in the Philippines. And played in the Philippines right when the Filipinos started letting foreigners on, right? And his life was amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Life would be amazing.
He told me they used to always give all the players like cars, right? But he was big. He's 6'7", 6'8". So he was the first player on the team that they rented a van for. He had a van take him every place, but in that horrible Manila traffic. But I mean, I think that's a great thing that you bring up where you can go. But that still doesn't, if I just bring it back to my original point, you can understand and have all of this out there as a young man. You can have all of this out there. But because you don't understand the culture of a place, you can't see the corner. I think you could see the corners of a place a lot more. Look, man, you came up in New York where everybody's trying to run a game, where the dude playing where the dudes will take 5-year-olds with 3-card Monty on the corner. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you should have played.
Should have known. Yeah, you should have known.
Different. I mean, you wear Timbs on the beach, bro. I mean, you're a different type of cat. I tease you about that all the time, don't I? Are you wearing Timbs on the beach again?
Yeah, anybody that's not from New York is gonna talk shit about that. Anybody.
Yeah, hey man, it's all love, man. But what I'm saying is that you can see the corners of stuff. I was coming at it as I could kind of see the corners because I spoke a little of the language, and I really got a good hold of the language. My boy who lives there, he lives in Chiang Mai, Thailand now, where he'll be on the Tip Network doing travel shows with us. He's going to do all the travel shows in Thailand. And also, when you want to go to Thailand, I wanted to make sure that I had someone established that if I could go there with you, that you could somebody who I trust, who speaks Thai, who can take you around, who can, translate some of the interviews. So I got you hooked up there. Don't worry about it. Been working on it all ever since you told me to.
I'm looking forward to that, bro.
And so, like, I could see the corners, but I couldn't see all of the corners. So I got hit with some blind corners before. I got hit with the I need medicine, man. Some of the stuff is funny. Like, up in the farm, our buffalo, our whole family depended on the buffalo. The buffalo's sick. I need medicine for the buffalo. I'm sitting here like, should I go to the ATM? And it was my homegirl stopped me like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? It's a hustle.
She's going to ask the other dude. I said, what other dude? She's like, are you that dumb?
Yeah, but that's in us. As men, that's in us already. We want to be helpful. We want to be useful.
Right.
We want to solve the problem. We want to save the day. But, I'm just saying, some guys, they got to get it how they can get it. So what I'm saying is there a way to simp responsibly? Is there a way, is there a simp Bible? Is there a simp G code that we could say, listen, you're already a simp by nature, right? Fine. Fine. But what is it that you're trying to get? And are you ensuring that you're getting what it is that you want? Do you have a preconceived budget where you're like, listen, she ain't going to take me for more than I'm willing to give. So this is already what I'm willing to give. Now let me try to spend as little of it as possible, but I already know my limit. She ain't going to know the limit, but I know the limit.
Well, yeah.
Another thing I want to ask is it really bad if it's better? And the reason why I'm saying that is a lot of guys could actually go simp in these other countries and still get better treatment than they're getting here. You know what I mean? It's like here, like you could all right, for example, in Mexico, simp ass behavior, I'm sorry, it's rewarded. Yeah, I'm just being honest. And I've been analyzing this and studying it real deep. It's rewarded, genuinely. When guys do nice things, they're not automatically taken for granted or not respected. Like the women don't automatically not respect you because you're overly nice or generous or gentleman. And
so certain things are expected though. Like my wife's from Mexico, so certain things are expected. You're expected to be a gentleman. You're expected to like provide. You're expected to, but she's also expected to like certain stuff that like one of the first things like she came by my place, when we were first dating, and she just like cleaned up, and I was like, is this a setup? Is this a trap? I was scared to drink my own water. I was like, she didn't drug me. I'm gonna wake up without a kidney. This is too good to be true. What are we talking about, bro?
Without a kidney.
Then she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come back in a few days, but I'm taking your laundry with me." I was like,
"But
this is no cap." I called my mom and I was like, "Mom, I'm worried." She's like, "Why?"
I'm worried.
And I told her, it's like, she probably likes you, and I was like, "Mom, women don't do this no more." My mom said, "These women ain't shit."
Yeah. Right. But what I'm saying is the guys. You see how you said you're expected to be a gentleman?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
But I am. Like she never opens her own doors, bro. I don't care.
Right. But that's what I'm trying to tell you.
She's never opened her door. She's never driven.
The
when
guys.
She's with me. Like she doesn't pump gas. It's like if
the guys aren't like that though.
Then I just do it. I mean that's kind of like expected, right? I mean, and she's it's not. And she's expected to do her role, and I'm expected to do my part.
Right, but what I'm saying is the guys aren't doing that there, though. That's what I'm saying. Like the guys that have the options and they have the choices, majority of them are dicks, right? Now, it's all good. I mean, it's up my alley. At least how I used to be when I was younger. But if the guys there, if the guys there are overly attractive, or if they make more money than the average guy, they tend to be assholes. Straight up, right? Like they exercise the fact that they have the upper hand because it's like there's beautiful women everywhere. How many guys make good money or how many guys are considered attractive, right? Because I've already talked about on my channel how Mexican guys are already at somewhat of a disadvantage as far as physical attraction, just like Asian guys are already at somewhat of a disadvantage. Now, you can say I'm being a dick for saying that. You can argue how true or not that is. Whatever. I'm talking about based on what women say.
Scott gonna be mad as hell. Scott's like.
Well, Scott is mixed. Scott is mixed.
Scott is a 5'11" Asian guy.
That's what I'm trying to say. He's not falling into that category because like for example, I listen to my woman. I've listened to all the women I've had before her, and women will literally sit there and say the equivalent to what men say to attractive dark-skinned women. When they'd be like, "Oh wow, she's really cute for a black girl," or she's really attractive for a dark-skinned girl. Now, as fucked up as that comment might be, it exists. You see what I'm trying to say? Like as fucked up as it might be, as it might sound, or whatever, as unpolitically correct as it is, the point is it's still a thing. You never hear somebody say, "Wow, she's really beautiful for a light-skinned girl." You never hear no stupid shit like that, right? It just doesn't exist. But you will hear, either to the girl's face or when she's or behind her back, you will hear the comment, "She's attractive," or "She's beautiful," or "She's pretty," or whatever, ... for a black or dark-skinned girl. Well, guess what? That's not exclusive to black women, because you will hear that about Asian men. You will hear girls say, "Wow, he's hot for an Asian guy," and you have to stop and be like, "Whoa, wait a minute, whoa, that was different." You know, and then you look at the guy and you're like, I could see what she means, because the guy will be tall. Like there's an Asian actor right now, the dude that was in Those Crazy Asians or whatever. I don't even know the name of the movie.
Yeah.
But okay, whatever.
Yeah,
he's one of those dudes that women of different nationalities and cultures find him attractive, and they will add that whole "for an Asian guy." Okay.
Well, I mean,
so that's the thing.
I guess, I listen to my girl sometimes, and she'll be like, "Oh, I like this chino," but that's just, I guess that's her way of saying he's cute. She's like, "Oh yeah, I like that show with the chinos." All the, she probably calls them chinos with money or something, because
Right.
In Mexico every Asian's a chino.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right, so check it out. My only thing is this, right? Because I don't, because you know what the problem is with this pod is that we don't talk to each other enough, so we're just talking now. We're just I would keep what I was saying, because we'll talk about this is like how our conversations go, where we just sit here and we just talk for like 2 hours, and we're like, I'm like, "Oh man, I gotta go."
I'm looking at the thing. I'm like, damn, it's time to do this. It's time to do that. But I just want to be optimistic for all the guys out there who have simpish ways.
Here's what I say to the guys, right? If you go to internationally, make sure that you're the center of attention and you're doing what you want to do.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. Like, what's up with you? You're on vacation. It's your vacation.
Well, okay. What's a fail-proof way to avoid that, though? I would say, never take any of these women up on their suggestion. You know what I mean? Never let them decide what it's gonna be. Like what you're gonna do.
Doing that anyway.
Well,
Who does that anyway?
Well, listen. Where does simping come from in America? Hold on. Right. In my opinion, where simping comes from in America, right, is the combination of two elements. Guys not knowing their value, not knowing their worth, not understanding the value that they have, right? That's one thing. And the next thing is this false perception of infinite options that the women are given. I think it's those two things. Because women, no matter how old they are in America or in these English-speaking countries, they still haven't figured out that there's a difference between marital attraction and just sexual attraction. They really think like I could have any guy. It's like, no, any guy will sleep with you. I mean, not every guy's is out here trying to commit to you. So they still haven't figured that element out. So they think they have so many options, and then the average guy is already undervaluing himself. Now, unfortunately, women don't necessarily deal with hard, concrete proof or evidence of what is. They kind of go with what's the social belief, which is why women will actually believe, yeah, men are trash, men aren't really valuable, men aren't needed. And it's like, wait, what are you talking about? If you thought about that on a practical level, you could never say that, because men go to work to make this shit function, right? But they say that because they're just going off the narrative that's given to them socially. The problem is some guys are also feeding into that. So they might make good money, they might have all these other skills or these other values that they bring, but they themselves don't recognize it and rate it and realize that, yo, this is valuable. For example, your time is valuable, but you're allowing a woman to treat you like an emotional tampon. That means you don't realize that your time is more important than listening to her bullshit, right? Or you trying to get her approval or her validation, but yet you speak more than one language. You've traveled places. You've earned a level of education she hasn't. You've reached a certain part in your career that she hasn't. You're physically stronger than her. All these things, but then you're over here pining for her approval but yet you're better than her in everything in life, right? No, but and then what happens? That's simping, is what I'm saying. That's simping.
Well, I think it goes back to this. Like what we say is that, I mean, especially when you're on your time, your time is your most valuable asset. I say this all the time. A man has the three most valuable assets: your time, because you don't know how much you have. My father taught me this. My father was perfectly good health, had a stroke. They don't know why he had a stroke. He never had high blood pressure. He was 180 pounds. He was 60 years old, he was 60 years old. He could do 100 push-ups. I have no idea, right? He was in great health. Just had retired from being a carpenter for 27 years. Then your money, because I mean you need your money to operate, to get around, and then your mental sanity. So these are the three most important things for a man, right? Everybody out there listening to me, three most important things for a man: time, money, and mental sanity. A person in general, but a man specifically, right? And so you have to go into any situation with that in mind. How is this with my time? How is this with my money? How is this going to affect my mental sanity? If you're going to drive yourself crazy with your mental sanity over a lady, say, oh, I'm going to give her this, but I want this, and you don't at least have the guts to tell her this is what I want, and find out if you're going to get it or not, then that's your fault, and that's simping, right? Because you're spinning the cake, you're not getting the honey, right?
Yeah, but my thing is though, what if that's the only way he can get around that chick, hang out with that chick or whatever, is to play that game? Because here's the thing, what you're saying works for somebody that's in a position to tell a bitch, fuck you, it's my way or the highway. But most guys, if they say that, they'll just be alone. So they kind of have to play by the girl's rules to even be in attendance. And hold on, one more thing I do want to put on there. You have to be honest, Rover. Majority of men, and when I say majority of men, I'm talking about majority of men, including high-value men as well. Majority of men owe hair to the power of the pussy. And I'm gonna give you some examples. I'm gonna give you some examples. Now,
agreed.
Right, there might be a guy. There might be a guy who's somewhat, I don't want to say average, but whatever. He's not popular or famous or anything, but maybe he makes good money, which means his time is valuable. If you make good money, that means your time is worth money, because you would be taking meetings, you would be generating money, earning money, something like that. So the time that you're kicking it with a woman, that's time you could have been making money. If you're a physician or a doctor, you're making $200 an hour for a patient to see you, but yet you hanging out with a chick, you taking a chick to dinner, bro, that's your time. Plus, you done paid for dinner. But hold on, but why is her time more valuable than yours, or equal at best in your mind? Because she has a vagina. Because she's beautiful and she has a vagina. Now, let me tell you how a famous guy will do the same exact shit. No, I'm gonna tell you, hold on. Famous guy will do the same exact shit. Chris Brown concert. Bouncers ain't letting no dudes in for free. I don't give a shit who you are. You're not on this guest list, you ain't coming in for free. Bad bitch come through. Her friend is also bad. Both of y'all come through, but you gotta lose the fat friend. Oh no, we came together. Listen, bitch. You wanna go backstage? Fine. But the fat bitch, she gotta wait for you. She gotta wait in general admission. Right?
Put her ass on the treadmill and send her back.
Right. You see what I'm saying, right? So now.
I've done security before, I know, man.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Me too. And the crazy thing was, I was the security guard that ain't have no simp in me. But what I'm trying to tell you is, I worked with plenty of dudes that were confident, they were big, they were strong, they made good money, they were popular, they were good looking, but they would still simp for attractive women. They weren't nice guys, they weren't nerds, they weren't cornballs, but they would give women concessions that they would not give to men, period. Now, when those girls get backstage, now they're over here groupieing for Chris Brown or Trey Songz or whatever celebrity, and he's actually bringing them to his table. He's actually bringing them in his changing room. He's actually taking free pictures with them, where someone else would have to pay these celebrities to take images and take pictures. They're over here letting these random women who they don't know, don't even know their name, get free pictures with them, drink up their liquor, use up their drugs, all because of what? Because they got a vagina and they look good. So the point I'm trying to make is, let's not act like simps are the only people that put women on a pedestal. I think guys use what they have to get what they want. I know plenty of personal trainers, they train pretty girls for free just to get access to the box. These are good looking dudes, but they're over here giving away their craft, their trade, their labor for free.
Bruh, man, I have pretty women who want me to train them all the time.
I ain't doing it.
I get emails like, I want to do Thai boxing. And it's like, first of all, my pro fighters come first. My pro fighters are people I'm going to train first, right? And so so now I got a male pro fighter, and I got a female who's like she's the second ranked karateka in the nation in her age group. And so she does karate, like point fighting. She's a professional, and then I got a professional MMA fighter. They come first. And then I have people like saying like, oh, well, how much are you an hour? And I give them my hour quote, and they're like, well, how much is it for me an hour? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to charge you more? I don't understand that, because my quote's my quote, right? So I get aware that people do train folks, but I say that when people trade their business for that, then they don't really value their business. Now I do know, like Chris Brown, I know that like when I was working at the Maritime Hall in San Francisco, which is a place that's not around anymore, but I was literally told when I was doing security there, and I was part of the executive security squad, which means that everybody who went through the back door every time the executives went, right? And we worked for an executive security firm. I was told, bring me some bad bitches in here. We don't care, you know. This is what this person wants. This person wants to be around a bunch of hot bad ones, so he can.
But what I'm saying is he's trading what he has. He's trading what he has, though.
But I think that like talking about that extreme thing is a little not like the average person. Look, the average guy, from my opinion, he works all year, saves up about $4,000, worked his ass off, saved $4,000. Already has a plane ticket, so maybe he spends like $850 to fly in the back of the damn airplane all the way to Bangkok, like this, right? You know, I'm lucky. My company always had me. I got spoiled. My company put me in business class when I flew there, right? So he's all gonna, and then he gets off there and he takes a cab ride with a bunch of people or a bus to a resort town, and he gets out there and he blows his money for a couple of weeks and he's gone. I'm saying for that person, if you're gonna go for that experience, no matter what part of the experience is gonna be, whether you're going around looking at bars and girls and the bazaar of it, because it's a bazaar, you look at it, it's crazy. Like, one of the things that, like, people will go there and they're like, I don't believe it's actually this crazy here. And then you go to a different city and it's totally normal. That's crazy. That blows your mind, right? So you got that. Or you go backpacking, or you go fishing, or you go to the place where they film the beach, or you go snorkeling and see fish that are so big that they scare you. That's why I don't go in the ocean no more, because of Thailand. All of that stuff. I'm saying that no matter what you do, make it about you and your experience.
Oh, no, for sure.
That's what I'm telling you with these guys. They go there, and they get wrapped up with a lady. They meet a lady at the 7-Eleven. There's some killers at 7-Eleven, bro. It's some stunners at Shakey's Pizza. It's some stunners at Benihana or Sizzler. Sizzler got the hot. I used to go to Sizzler and try to run game like it was a club. Sizzler got the hot.
The Hard Rock Cafe, man. Whew.
The Hard Rock Bangkok is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. The Hard Rock anywhere outside of America, you're like, damn.
Like, what's going on, right? So you have these guys go in there, and then they hook up with somebody, and they're excited. Then all of a sudden, there's like, all right, so now they have 2 weeks planned. They blow off their boys and this and that, and they just spend the time with them. Then when they get home, these guys now, they were able to save up $4,000 in a year, but what they do is they send that money to them. And they can't even go back, and they're just sending money.
I mean, well, we got that everywhere, though. We got that everywhere.
I guarantee you, 25% of the men who go to Thailand do that.
Yeah, I mean, but 25% of the guys on Twitch do that. So, you know what I mean? 25% of the guys on OnlyFans do that. So, I mean...
Not on Twitch or OnlyFans.
All I'm saying...
I can't... We did a MMA Fighters on OnlyFans edition that we haven't released yet, where I went and I subscribed to like 5 MMA Fighters OnlyFans for 1 month to see. They're like $5.99 each, you know. One of them was super expensive, and she was in her bikini, and I was like, well, but I was just amazed because we were doing a dichotomy of like, how can somebody fight for a living and they have to do this to, you know, for someone who fought before, they have to do this to make ends meet. I was like,
it's the same thing with bodybuilding. The female bodybuilders, they have to do all kind of weird stuff to be able to afford the bodybuild. It's like, damn. Because that look is so unmarketable. So they have to find where that freak show, you know, people paying for that.
Yeah, because fighting is a hurt business. Like, if you're fighting, anybody who fights, I don't care in any league, I have respect for her. And like, you're going in there saying this is gonna hurt. It's okay.
Yeah, and you're only making significant money if you're winning. You know, if you're a winner. But
I never got a significant.
Let me ask you this though. So for the record, for you, if it's simping or to the degree of simping it is mostly about the outcome. So what I'm saying is, if a guy is like he's simping, but he's getting the box, he's getting it frequently, he's getting it when he wants. Is it
That's
simp?
not
Is it
that's not
simp?
simping.
Or that's just an
That's
arrangement?
not simping.
It's
That's
arrangement.
tricking.
Tricky.
That's
Okay,
tricking. That's not.
okay.
That's, I'm from the Bay, baby. We gotta.
Yeah, no, that's old school. That I can relate to more than the simp. Simping is a new concept for me.
It's
Tricking
tricking.
is
It's
what
not.
we used to call
Simping
it.
is,
Yeah.
look. Simping is trying to trick, but a simp is an unsuccessful trick.
Ooh, you gotta coin that. You gotta
That's what a
coin that.
simp
A
is.
simp is an unsuccessful trick.
Yeah.
You
So when
gotta
I see people
coin
out there,
that.
because it's funny because like especially our generation, tricking don't mean going to see a girl. Tricking means just tricking off your money.
Yeah, you ain't spending
That's
time. You ain't listening to her
yeah.
bullshit. You ain't
So,
you ain't
so,
solving her
but,
problems.
but
Yeah.
a simp, you're doing all of that, but you're not even you're not even touching the honey pot. That's the problem.
I see a lot of behavior I would characterize as simping during my travels, and when I look at the guys, they are happy as shit. These guys are happy.
Yep.
They're holding
Because
hands. They're getting constant hugs. They're not going to the
but
movies alone anymore.
are they really? Are they how are they really simping?
Hey,
Are they just
bro, they're simping. They're
are
simping.
they just or do they just have a girlfriend?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something else that gets rewarded in Mexico in particular. Friends. You know what I mean? Like intersexual friends, guys and girls being friends. Guys that are friends with girls, that shit gets rewarded out there.
Do they get the think they get the box?
No, they don't get no, they don't get the box. But what I'm saying is like, you know what I mean? They're not like just used and take advantage of. The girls are like, actually they're friends for lack of a better
Well,
word. Yeah.
well, I think only modern times now. Like in martial arts, I have a lot of women who are friends. It's just a limit to it, though. I just always watch it and make sure that I'm not taken advantage of
Oh,
because they're a
exactly.
woman. But
Yep.
like I have women I have women who like they're my friends and like, but I'm just not the emotional guy. You just can't call me crying about stuff unless you want a solution. Because to me,
Right.
every time anybody comes to me, I'm here for the solution. So like I have a friend, I have several friends actually. Like I went through this thing where I had to let myself get way bigger than I am now. And I lost like 125 pounds during the pandemic, because I was at home and I just, what I did? Every time a commercial came on, I did push-ups and sit-ups. And every time I went to get a meal because I wanted to walk, I would walk to the Whole Foods and
Yeah.
buy the food from on the weekends. I would just walk to the Whole Foods.
You gotta earn it.
I just earned it. So it was the easiest thing. So like, and then I counted my calories when I wasn't there because my gym was closed, but I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu and I wasn't doing kickboxing. So and then the owner of my gym, he would let the core five, the first five of us who joined, and I was like number 3. So he's a friend of mine. And so that's it. Oh, it's okay. I thought I lost you for a second. I was saying,
Yeah, you know what it is? It's the damn Bluetooth. So all the phones show up, even though he's calling a different phone. They all show up because of the damn the Apple, the iCloud.
Oh yeah,
the iCloud thing going.
Because you're all connected.
Right.
You're all connected. I know.
Yeah.
I seen Eva called.
Yeah, Iba. Yeah, my cousin. Yeah, I'm gonna go get some content in Houston.
When you go to Houston?
I'm gonna go get some content in Houston this weekend.
You're going this weekend?
Yeah, instead of Tulum, I'm just gonna go to Houston because I'm already going back to Mexico in like 10 days. So I was like,
so see, I thought if you were gonna go to Houston, or like if you were gonna tell me you were going in a few months, I was gonna meet you there because I just stay at my cousin's house.
Well, I mean, I could always go back, bro. That's the thing, man. I got so much freedom.
Let's plan that though. Let's plan that because I'll get Scott out there and like the wife will go hang out with my auntie and stuff because everybody likes her more than they like me anyway. And so she could go hang out and we could just film some content.
Definitely. You got any fam in Austin?
No.
No.
My cousin who lived in Austin, he moved back to Willis. I got some martial arts family in Dallas, and that I can always call on in Waco. but
Yeah.
nobody in Austin.
I'm trying to stay moving around, bro, because they're gonna shut that shit down.
Actually, I know I have a pretty close friend of mine in Austin, but I think he just had his baby, so he won't be available to bounce around.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen.
He does voiceovers for my podcast whenever I have somebody does. He does a British voiceover.
Voiceovers?
He's British. Yes. Like whatever. Bro, it's just wait, dude. Our podcast is about to be crazy, dude. We're gonna be sick.
I believe it, bro.
But look. Here's the only thing I say for all the people out there. Thank you for rocking with us. I know we've been we've been silly. I know we're just impromptu. Understand, folks out there. I don't get a chance to talk to my brother that much. So, like, you know, he's been like, dude, when can you hop on? I've been so busy with this. I mean, you know, I'm in California, so it's still like every time anything happens with a vid, I gotta change my whole business around and do everything and work. And still, like, so it's not like I'm in Texas or I'm anyplace else where
or Florida. That shit don't even exist out here.
If it happens, they're like, well, you get to just go
Employees don't even wear masks out here. We're like, what? That's still a thing?
So,
yeah.
Now, people still wear masks out here. I work for a national tech company, so, you know, they're super...
That was the worst part of being back in Mexico is that they're still doing these stupid ass masks, and it was crazy because they were doing it hardcore in Mexico City, but then in Guadalajara nobody gave a fuck.
No. Guadalajara is fun, bro.
No.
Look at your face.
They got some baddies out there. But listen, next time I'm trying to get out to Costa Rica. I mean, I'm going back out there next month because they have this big fit expo, and there's going to be a bunch of celebrities from all around the world there in the fitness industry. So I was like, let me go out there and network. Yeah, I didn't want to compete because I feel like every time I compete, my networking suffers dramatically because I'm too busy worrying about the competition and being ready and all the things I got to do. So I don't get to really meet and greet people like I normally would. So I have to like start getting out to more expos and not competing and just participating as, you know, as a fan and a business person rather than an athlete. Because trust me, you don't get to do shit as an athlete.
No, I definitely. And I think that, like, for you in your position with a growing channel, your channel's you know, your channel's substantial. It's not like you got like 2,000, 3,000 subs, and so your job is you're in growth mode.
Yeah, I gotta shake hands, man. Gotta kiss babies.
Go out there, shake hands, talk to folks, get people on a pod. You know,
definitely.
And keep interviewing those. You know, and come up with different angles and different conversations to get people involved. As a matter of fact, I think a great conversation in Mexico, if you ever talk to one of the ladies, you get a lady and get a translator, so she can really describe it. It's like her understanding of like romanticism and what does she think about it. You know, so like that was one of the things that like one of the things me and my lady talk about a lot, because my lady is very my wife is very minimalist as far as what she needs, like, you know, but she's very maximalist about the romantic part.
Yeah, no, they are out there. Out there, they really are. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of this nice guy, sensitive, simp type shit. I don't know. In certain countries, that shit gets rewarded though.
It's not a simp if it's your wife, bro. It's not a simp if it's your.
No, yeah. I get that. I'm using the term loosely because over here, like if a guy's holding hands, it's like, oh, look at this soft ass dude, right? You know, if he's
Damn, for holding hands?
Right, that's
just Brooklyn.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Buying flowers, you know, any of that type of stuff. Yeah. It's like, oh, look at this guy. Oh, he's a sucker. He's sipping. But it's like, yo, but that's his girl, though. So that's what I'm saying. That behavior gets you the girl is what I'm trying to say. That behavior gets you the girlfriend over there. That's what I'm trying to say.
I buy flowers. I cook dinners, like, because I used to cook for a living. You know, I had a job as a cook for like about a half a year until I fired.
I didn't get around to buying flowers yet, but but I do a lot of.
But I cook, you know. Matter of fact, I'm about to make some fire oxtails this weekend.
Yeah.
Fire.
I got the weekend off. I usually cook, but I got the weekend off.
Yeah, good, man.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think we put this to bed, and actually.
Yeah, we did. I don't think we solved anything, but at least.
Well, we're never gonna solve anything. Right. You know why, right? Because we're just gonna talk to each other because we like talking to each other. So, like we're not.
You know what it is? We're not disagreeing animately enough. Because I still agree with you. I just think that there is a little wiggle room. So yeah. So just to be positive, guys. Uh, go where you're gonna get the most for your time, the most for your money, the most for your effort, and also make sure that you are uh, leveling up, man, and actually being attractive. And I think that's the key thing is don't think that you can buy or earn attraction from a woman. You got to already bring it to the
Yes,
to the
yes.
situation. But if you don't have it and you still want to play, that's why I'm saying there has to be some type of guidelines to the simping. Or let's not even call it simping.
Hold on a second. Let me interrupt you. We got a super chat from Jay Velez. Jay Velez, what's up? And he has this question: Allende, how was Rolling Loud?
You know what? Grover was mentioning how he's so happy that he already grew up in a different generation. That's what I kept thinking the whole fucking time. The whole time I kept thinking to myself, because everybody there was between the ages of 18 and 25. Like 90% of the people there were between the ages of 18 and 25, and more to the younger, right? So I kept on comparing it to when I was in that age demographic and what the concerts were like then and what the girls were like then. And I just kept thinking to myself, I feel bad for these guys today because these girls are trash. Like I was shocked that such a low percentage of those girls were attractive. Like it really shocked me that such a low percentage of them were attractive. So to answer Jay's question, I was very disappointed with the quality of the females that were there. I was like, where the hell are the good looking girls? Are they in VIP? What the fuck? Yeah, most of the girls were ugly. They weren't really attractive. They were dressed horribly and very like slutty. Like they were dressing like it was a rave. I was like, it was a hip hop concert, not a rave. And then the artists themselves weren't very impressive. I'm sorry, I'm not impressed. And when I was younger, I was always going to the hip hop concerts and shows and whatnot. So yeah, so overall, I was not impressed. I had a good time because of who I was hanging out with and being able to talk to all those different ladies. That was fun. But the quality of the actual talent that was there was garbage. And I think the females, like maybe 10 or 15% of them were above 6, which is. So I feel for you guys. I feel for you guys in your young 20s. Get this damn money, build this value, build this attraction, and be patient. Because I think a lot of guys are trying to do things that they're not ready to do, so they're not competitive in that area. So they're basically inviting the disappointment and the failure, right? If you're trying to club and you're young, and you ain't got no money, it's not gonna be that great of an experience. You're gonna have to wait online. You're gonna have to park super far from the club. You know, none of the really, really hot girls are gonna want to be bothered with you. You can't get a table. You can't get bottles. You can't get VIP. You're not gonna have the same experience as a guy that can do all those things. So why even put yourself in that environment and lose? Focus on building yourself up and enjoying yourself in other ways. You get what I'm trying to say? Other activities to have a good time.
That's definitely a very good message. Here's
Right.
a message that I tell folks to somebody who's started traveling when I was actually my first international trip with family. I was like 6, and just traveled my whole life. I'd say like go to another country and optimize yourself, learn new
Yep.
cultures, learn new people, understand like you're gonna go someplace and you're gonna be on the ball. You're gonna go someplace and they're gonna be like, man, we don't know what this guy is. I mean, like I went to Mongolia in 2019 twice, and I took Scott one time, and we filmed a documentary. We filmed a flipping movie there. Had no idea what we were doing. Had one of the greatest times ever. Affected me to this day. I still have friends in Mongolia. Friends from Cuba live in Mongolia. My friend from Africa lives in Mongolia. I was sitting with. I had dinner with people from the World Bank who made monetary policy, and I was like, Jesus, this is crazy. And I'm just, who am I? I'm just this dude who I went to Mongolia because they had a really cool Brazilian jiu-jitsu school out there, dude, and I just had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I
How,
had no
how
idea.
much? How much did it cost you on average, like to be out there for a week?
Be out in Mongolia for a week actually cost like less than $1,000.
No.
And I had a 3-bedroom. I had a by the city square in Ulaanbaatar. I had a 3-bedroom Airbnb that was just on the top floor. It was pimped. It was great. Scott stayed in a room. Ladies stayed with us. It was really cool. But actually, my flight was really expensive because I've had my legs broken so many times from fighting and football that I fly business, so the flight was expensive because I wanted to stretch out, make sure I maintain circulation in my legs because that's important. And but that was the most expensive spot. Everything else was like, I think for all together and filming, I think I spent we filmed a movie for less than $4,000 with staying there.
Wow.
So we was on a budget, and we went to clubs, we danced salsa, we did everything, right? So when I went there, it was a trip because being a bigger guy at the time I'm 6'1". At the time I was like 360 pounds. I hadn't started losing like a lot of weight yet, and like people were still coming up to me like, how do you get this big but you're not fat? You still do martial arts, you still do this and that. And then one of the folks who I know from there, they actually visited San Francisco, and they were like, oh wow, now you're super skinny. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm still a big guy, but I went through that weight loss journey, and so like it's just super different how I was treated.
Yeah.
Like I was treated like really well. When I went to Thailand, I was treated well. In France was one of my favorite places I ever been to. I could tell you stories about France because I was there for so long. I played in a funk band with a really good friend of mine from Washington D.C. who moved to France and lives in Bordeaux now.
But that's the thing though. You're making it functional, and I think that's another thing that these guys aren't cultivating something. You got to cultivate something, right? And then bring it with you. Like he asked about Rolling Loud. Rolling Loud was like $250 a day for the tickets, I think, or I could be wrong. It might have been $250 for both days. But the point I'm making is damn near $300 for that bullshit. Like $300 would have went so much further, in some of these other countries that we're mentioning. And then, a couple of nights ago, my girl was saying that like Chris Brown is coming to Miami or something next weekend, and she was like looking up tickets. I was like, in my head, I was already like, I'm not going to that shit. I'm not paying for it either. But it was $300 to go to Chris Brown. And what I'm saying is like, that type of money is like, guys and girls are spending that kind of money just to be there, just to say they were there. They don't necessarily have that good of a time. I remember when Ultra was here. Ultra was super expensive. It was like $500 or something for 2 days. All I'm saying is, I'm the type of person, when I hear those numbers, I automatically think I would rather go to another country. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, I'd rather just go to another country. So I recommend that to guys is like, save your money, and you'll have these experiences that Grover's talking about that last with you for a lifetime. And I think that's going to... Go ahead.
And they change the way you look at the world.
I was just about to say that, right. They change the way you look at yourself.
And so like I remember the first time I came back from France, and I was living with I was there for 2 years, so I was living with a woman. For the first time I was living with a woman, right? And I was like, that's really different, and like it was one of those toxic relationships where we break up twice a week. So,
yeah, but the sex is really good though, right?
Insane, bro.
Yeah, because they're super emotional and passionate.
Insane. But twice a week, she'd get mad at me, and I told her, she'd like grab something to do it and say, "You better not throw that shit at me." And then she'd like throw it against the wall.
Yeah, she'd get frustrated. Yeah, but if you were a French guy, she would have threw it at you.
She would have threw it at my little Pepe Le Pew ass.
Yeah, no, real shit. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is. Yeah.
Look, man, like I just tell all you folks, thanks for rocking with us. Thanks for the super chat.
For sure.
And thank you for inviting me again, Dan. I'm gonna skip off. I actually enjoyed this. Let's do this again. Let's do this again when you come back to Houston or wherever you're going, or Mexico or someplace. We'll do it again. And when you come out here, we'll be in a podcast studio. So we can either be at my place when it's just when me and Scott film videos, but when we do live streams, we have a studio we film out of now.
Perfect.
So it's cool. You come out and we'll jump out in the studio and we'll be all in person, and we'll do the Three of Negroes or something. Have a good time. We'll do an episode of toxic masculinity, because our live streams are going to be called Toxic Masculinity.
You're just trying to be banned from the algorithm.
No, man, I'm telling you, we call it Toxic Masculinity, and then we have a really good concept we're going to do, so I can't let it out the bag, but we'll have a guest on, and we'll talk about stuff. But the thing is, I think people are taken aback because I say like outlandish things, but I'm not really mean to people.
No,
I'm not.
Of course not.
I don't need to be. but I say what I mean. Like, so, because I'll say, like, make sure that your whole experience is about you and about no one else. And damn what she wants to do. It's about me, right? And then they'll be like, but I'm not going to be like, those stupid women, they don't understand. It's a man's world. I'll just be like, no, look.
Yeah, just do you.
I'm just doing my thing. And if you want to come with me, you can.
Spoils of war, right? Spoils of war.
So, I get flies with honey, man. I don't get flies with vinegar.
That's all I'm saying. Get good at something so you get you some cheerleaders. That's all. Earn you some cheerleaders.
Thank you so much, man. It's been good. I got to do this more often. And this is all my fault, dude. You always ask me, like, come on, let's do something. I'll be like, half of the time, dude, I'll be like, man, like yesterday I was like, bro, it's the only day I can go to sleep early. I know it sounds old manish, but I'm
nah, you need it. If you can get it, get it. Because, bro, trust me, I need it myself now, man. I'm like sore. And...
Bro, plus, I hit the gym in the morning and I hit the gym at lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time I get home, I'm done, bro. And then I do like either kickboxing or jiu-jitsu twice a week. So if I do all of that, you talking about coming on live, and I'm like talking about the back of my eyelids sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I wish we could eat on camera.
Yeah. All right, brother.
All right, brother. Yeah, I'm out of here too. Thanks for watching, guys. We just fucking around. Need to talk to my big bro. But we're gonna catch y'all on the next one.
All right, man. Peace out.
Peace.